development. You do not have to create a huge website before you launch it. You can develop one site at a time and keep launching it into production continuously. Like diversity, right? People coming in from different kind of come together to believe in kind of one community, right? And so the same really in a company, right? Kind of really the more you can bring different diversities and different backgrounds together, the better. And so that doesn't mean that you have to follow a traditional career trajectory of, oh, I do a computer science degree, then I work as a software engineer, and then I kind of move to different companies. In fact, a lot of self-taught engineers are equally or sometimes even more valued, because it really shows your passion, your motivation to learn those technologies, right, in your own time, like you're doing right now. This is truly awesome. So definitely make sure you mention these kind of extracurricular learnings, these kind of web courses on your resume. And again, on your resume, really what I always look for is kind of the journey, right? Where's the person coming from? What experience do they have? What have they done in their career at different companies? If you haven't worked, if this is kind of your first introduction to web development and you haven't done web development before, and maybe have not had the opportunity yet to work at a company, at a technology company, that's okay. Put things on your resume like a blog post, maybe, where you maybe did some algorithm that you wrote, and you wrote a blog about how you did it, right? Again, it's about your journey of how you learned these technologies. Maybe share some, maybe submit some code into open source community, and then share that on your resume of something you've done. Or maybe you developed a website for some friends or acquaintances, and again, that it's a public-facing website. You can maybe share and link on your resume. Really, if people are interested to see kind of the problem you were solving, like the website you were building, and what technologies you use doing that. And of course, mention the technologies you're familiar with, what kind of implementations you have done. Things that usually kind of scare me away from a resume. So like I talked a little bit about the do's. Like, let me talk a little bit about the don'ts. Like, don't have typos on a resume. So that's probably kind of where that shows that the person is not necessarily detailed enough, that they have reviewed their resume. If they have typos, that means they didn't read through it, or maybe they didn't give the resume to a friend or family member to review for typos. So that's just a no-no, right? Because again, even in a company, your code will get peer reviewed, documents you write get read by multiple people. There's often a kind of approval sign-off of different deliverables that you put together. So it's really important to make sure that whatever you write is concise and to the point, right? Again, on the resume, you don't really want to have like a 10-page document resume. Usually kind of 1 or 2 pages ideally should be enough. So how can you concisely summarize the value you've added or why you've done something, right? The other one I usually look at is kind of if somebody's kind of jumping between companies too much, That's again is often a no-no for me. Like if somebody in the last 5 years has been at 6 different companies, usually because when I look for somebody, I look at somebody I want to invest in, right? Somebody I want to be with our team for a long time. And if somebody has switched jobs every 6 months without really seeing a project through end to end, especially some of these bigger projects, they can take longer time. That's always kind of a red flag, right? There would have to be a really good description. Again, it's about the story, right? There would have to be a really good reason behind it, why that person did that. So if it happens kind of once or twice, there can usually be a good story behind it. If it happened like 6 times, that's a bit worrisome. In fact, actually, what I'm gonna put something in the chat here in terms of some of the kind of one of our previous HR VP at Google wrote something on the internet about kind of winning resumes, wrote a blog post. I'll share the link in here in the chat window for you guys to take a look at. I really like that article. I've kind of referred to it myself whenever I have to update my resume. I think it's kind of very useful. I'll also share with you actually some action verbs, powerful action verbs to use in resumes. That's another article I found in the chat window. I just chat in the chat window that I found kind of really useful in terms of whenever I update my resume, kind of what kind of words to use, because it matters. You have a really short few pages where you're trying to sell yourself, right? And you're showing the kind of the positive you've done. With that, I'll pause a little bit and see if there are any questions in the chat window, any specific topics you guys want to talk to me about. In my bio, I shared my LinkedIn profile as well, in case you have any question there, any information, any other information, questions I can answer about hiring, anything.
Thanks, Yvonne. For my team, I just request that you guys just speak up and say it, because it's going to be difficult switching between audio and video. And I would appreciate if whoever is not speaking, just double check and turn your microphone off because of the echo issues. And all right, so I'm going to go mute my microphone, and then you guys can ask questions from Yvonne. And we have 5 to 10 minutes. It's up to Yvonne. I know that people have a lot of questions, and I do want you guys to really ask questions, because this course is not just learning technology. You have to also build skills to present yourself and to compose your questions. This is an exercise, and this is family. Consider Yvonne as part of family. She's been part of my family for a long time. She has, mashallah, 3 boys, and my little girls, they consider each other brothers and sisters. So we are very close family. And just to let you know, my father passed away in her house. He was in San Jose. So no hesitations here. I really want you guys to compose your question and ask questions. This is part of the class. This is not extra. I'm doing this different. Don't think about the money that you're paying. Think about the opportunity you have and how much opportunity you have to speak with professionals like Yvonne. And inshallah, we'll get more and more. Every lecture, we will have some super rock star person, professional like Yvonne there, who have done this all. So I really want you guys, I'm emphasizing it, please ask questions. This is the way for you to build up your confidence, your speaking style, because I want all of you guys to be going into either building a business of your own, online business, or applying for jobs. I'm not waiting until the end of the course and saying, okay, I've delivered the course, now let's go ahead and improve your resume. Okay, so this is all concurrent. I am not a professional teacher, so I'm not going to teach you guys the way other teachers teach in colleges and universities. Sorry about making it long, but I really want almost every one of you guys ask question from Yvonne on the microphone.
Yeah.
You guys, I hope you guys. Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna go mute.
I would like to echo that. Actually, my first promotion when I was about 5 years into my career was actually because I asked some question at the all hands. So I spent like the whole all hands. I knew at the end of the all hands, the CEO will ask people to ask question, and I I was like, throughout the all hands, I was thinking, what question can I ask? I don't want to ask a stupid question. What question can I ask? But so I wrote down a few different questions throughout the all hands. I was listening, and I was so nervous getting up and asking a question. But because I got up and I asked 2 questions, actually my future manager after that, she actually said that's the first time she noticed me. It's because I stood up in the crowd of 500 people of the all hands, and I had the courage to get up to the microphone and ask the question, right? Again, and I don't even think it was that great question, but I think it was more like she noticed me. She's like, oh yeah, like maybe I'll ask her if she wants to come over into my team. And so it's just sometimes that makes you becoming visible, right? When you have the courage to stand up and ask a question. And I was sweating while I was doing it, by the way, at that time.
So thanks, Yvonne. So if you guys don't start asking questions, I'm gonna go and pick one by one at random and ask you guys to take the mic.
Assalamualaikum. Assalamualaikum. This is Manisa. I have a question.
Please go ahead.
Yes. Assalamualaikum. How are you today?
Assalamualaikum. I'm great. Thank you so much.
Good. So I'm very interested in this profession, but I'd also like, I'm a hands-on person. So not only being visual, I like to be able to do chair sides just to see the interaction on how individuals work with developing websites. So I did want to find out, are there any additional workshops that are available online? Are there any web links that allows you to practice building websites? And is there any opportunities within Google where we as beginners introducing ourselves into this field, is there individuals that we can sit with so that we can have an idea of the feel of what we would experience?
Yeah. So in terms of technologies and classes, there's a huge amount of online classes available, even a lot of them for free, right? So if you pick a certain technology, there's a lot of kind of even free tools, like what you see is what you get kind of web tools. But really kind of the beauty is kind of with going deep into a technology, right? And again, start slowly, right? And just taking different courses online. And actually, but I can put together kind of a few lists. You may have some too of kind of different online resources I can share for sure in terms of different web technologies. I was curious, you mentioned that you're very hands-on, you're very visual. Is that, so do you feel as you're doing the web development that is kind of, do you feel your interest is more into kind of the programming side or more into the really kind of UX designer side, right? Because there's different roles within web technology that make a project successful.
I would say that I'm interested in both, because during this course we're understanding, just last week we're showing how to do the command line, so the behind the scene, and then how we want it to look as far as the end result. So I'm interested in both sides of it, but as you were mentioning before, there's different, working with a team, you have to have these different areas of knowledge to be able to pull together and have your end result. So I'm interested in learning everything that I possibly can with you and Brother Arshad, so that at the end, in the future, I'll be able to be in where you are, where the both of you are, so that it just seems it's a more productive area, it appears, with all that's going on today.
Yes, yes. Oh, there's huge amount of kind of web technology needs. Like if you mention specifically now with coronavirus, right? It's actually somebody saying, oh, economy is tanking. But in IT and technology, oh, it's going up, right? This is actually good. Like it's actually positive for Google Cloud, because more and more people using web technology now to do video conferencing with family, right? A lot of companies now have to allow working from home. What does that mean? They have to start their digital experience, right? They have to start
exactly
with a lot of documents, put it on the web, right? So this is actually going to become a boom for technology more and more. And so I definitely I'll share some links. I don't have them handy right now in terms of different other classes and technologies to read up. And in fact, that's what most people do at Google, right? Like people at Google, that I know, even like kind of new software engineers that come in right after finishing their computer science degrees, right? I have a few interns, a couple interns in my team. I have a couple people who are kind of fresh out of school, right? Like kind of university. And it's really about kind of learning and finding information on the web, right? Kind of, if you search just right now for Ruby on Rails, or you search for Python programming, you'll find a lot of blog posts, a lot of classes. It's really a lot of self-learning. Is not just always a guided class, right? It's about learning different ideas and then try it out, right? Kind of
yes.
with a hello world and try it out. In terms of opportunities at Google, it's not that easy, especially right now with COVID-19. Obviously, everybody working from home. But even before, it was not. It was really kind of through official kind of intern program, for example, where you'd have to apply, and it's a central application process. Even me as a hiring manager, basically it's a central team that manages that, and then I can apply to try to get some interns into my team. That's the way it works at Google. The other thing is, but there are kind of actually even like this, I think there's a website called Grow with Google, which was more focused not so much on web development, more for IT administration careers. So for people who've never had a computer science background, who want to switch careers maybe in their 40s, right, or 50s, kind of want to switch careers without formal training before. And so they had a course more focused on like how could you become an IT administrator, helping people with their laptops and things like that. But I know they're looking at kind of extending more and more courses on there too, and those are free courses you can get. And you can get certified then as kind of Grow with Google. So I'll share that link as well later on.
Okay.
But if you search on Google right now, Grow with Google, you should already find that. But it's not so much around web development, right? But more just kind of external classes.
Okay. The more, for me, the more that I have, the better, because I just want I want my education within this career capacity to grow. So the more information that I have, the better. So I definitely appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Sister Manisha. Who's next, or should I nominate someone?
No, I see somebody. I saw
okay,
somebody.
who is? Can you introduce yourself? Okay, introduce yourself, please.
This is Abdurrahman.
Go ahead, please.
So I have two questions.
Mm-hmm.
Firstly, I wanted to ask about. You mentioned
Abdurrahman. Abdurrahman, can you quickly tell just 30 seconds about yourself, what you're doing, and that, and I think this would be the right thing for everyone else to do too, so that Yvonne gets the context. And Yvonne, how are we doing with time-wise? It's already 9:26.
We're doing fine, so don't worry. Your brother's here taking care of the boys, so I have lots of time.
Okay.
They're trying to Islamic school actually in a few minutes. They're on Islamic school stuff.
Yeah, I think maybe on the end it would be nice to see the three boys. Just a quick snapshot here, because things are different. Anyway, go ahead, Abdurrahman.
So I'm studying at university, third year, doing computer science degree, doing 2 minors, business and maths.
Nice.
So I have just 2 questions. Firstly, I was, to be honest, navigating through this, I was thinking of myself as being more on the managerial side of things or on the business side of things, rather than computer science. Although, just out of interest. I'm not sure if you have any insights there. That's the first question. Second question is, I'm doing a lot of extracurricular activities on the side. Does that carry any weight, or is it really just the technical side of things?
Oh, extracurricular activities are very important. Absolutely mention those, because again, those show your initiative, right? In fact, actually, at Google, often the soft skills are they are equally, something in certain job positions, even more important than the technical skills, because soft skills are really hard to learn. And soft skills are things like communication skills, right? Do you have the courage to speak up and to contribute in a brainstorming meeting? Are you proactive? Do you take initiative, right? If I give you a project and say, hey, you're in charge of designing this website and execute on this project, go ahead and do it. Are you able to just are you able to flourish, right? Are you able to go reach out to people find the right information? Do you take the initiative? And so extracurricular activities really show that, right? They show the ability to kind of be proactive and engage with different environments. It also shows that you can, depending on what curriculum activity this is, that if you work in a team, right, and I don't know, if you're playing a basketball team, right, it shows that you're a team player, right? Things like that. So absolutely important. And in fact, most of the time, actually, I didn't mention, but on a resume, you want to see more than just their career, right? You want to find out, like, what type of person is this? Is this somebody I could imagine spending 8+ hours a day with at work, right? Is this somebody I enjoy working with, right? Because actually, some study in Google has shown that what makes a productive team is not having, it's kind of superheroes, right? Having lots of, like, having 1 or 2 superheroes that kind of carry the team. What's actually more important to have, like, an average performing team, but have them as a really close unit. We call it psychologically safety. Are they feeling comfortable with each other? Like, if I take a social risk of trying a new technology that nobody's tried before and I fail, will I be safe, right? Or will I lose my job? And a lot about technology and careers is that, like, you guys are gonna be building AI and machine learning frameworks and things like that that I didn't even learn at the time when I was doing computer science, right? So, like, right now, a lot of technologies are hard that never existed when I did my degree 20 years ago, right? So it's this continuous learning on the job and being comfortable and open to take risks, right? And so that they've actually found that this psychological safety and trust within a team is more important than having some rock stars of kind of really high performers, you know, because they would just kind of carry a team. It wouldn't be the same, right? So that's really in terms of extracurricular activities. Absolutely, like doing this web programming right now on your side. Awesome, right? Because again, there's certain googliness attributes at Google we value, and they actually, in an interview, they get, there's one, like in an interview, there's kind of 3 areas that usually get tested. One is role-related knowledge. Like, do you have the technologies, the domain knowledge for the role you're applying to, right? Then there is actually something we call googliness, which is quite interesting, that gets tested. And the third one is what we call cognitive abilities. Like, do you know how to understand a problem, how to think logically about a problem, how to design the problem, how to come up with a different solution option, right? So these 2, actually, besides the first one, have not much to do with technology. The cognitive ability have more to do, like, how you're thinking about a problem, right? Can you work with a team? And the googliness, within there's different googliness attributes we look for. One being, do you appreciate design, right? Do you appreciate that you have to think out of the box sometimes to come up with different options? Do you thrive in chaos? So that's actually a fun one, because, like, are you organized? Can you thrive in chaos? Meaning, there's going to be lots of ambiguous problems out there in the world with technology, right? Are you comfortable with a kind of constant change? Because if there's one constant in life, it's change. Right now, we have to adapt to working from home. Totally new environment, right? But are you positive? Do you have positive energy to work through that, right? And despite the COVID, still come to class like this one, right? So again, this shows your commitment. This is something they test in the interviews, actually. Do you help others? Like, are you a team player? Do you put, so there's actually, how many? I can quickly talk through if you're interested.
19 of the 17 students, excluding you and I.
Yeah. So we have like basically 9 of these googliness attributes. I can quickly walk through. I talked through 3 already. The 4th one is put the user first, right? This comes back also a little bit to your business management, right? That if you develop something but a user doesn't like it, I can give you an example. Google Plus wasn't so successful. We spent millions of dollars developing it, not so successful. Facebook, people liked, so people went there, right? So there's a lot of projects Google did and they didn't succeed. But if you put the user first, you're more likely to succeed. Do you strive for, so the 5th one is strive for self-development. You guys have already all proven that to me, right? You all strive for self-development. That's why you're in this class. Number 6 is effectively challenging the status quo. So do you look for, like, if there's a common technology, do you look for more, right? Do you continue challenging yourself to look for another option, maybe another alternative? Number 7, think big. And that also think big is around kind of taking risks, right? Being comfortable taking risks, and meaning that there will be projects that fail. In fact, I would say kind of the last project my team worked on, we didn't do so well. We launched it and not many users started using it. So we had to pivot. We had to change a few things around in what we built. Was a bit disappointing because we had to throw away a lot of code that we've built, but it was important in order to build something better for the users. Number 8 is, do you do the right thing, right? And I think that's where a lot of Islamic values come through too, right? Like, don't be evil, right? Do the right thing, be kind to others, right? And the last one, number 9, is appreciate diversity. Do you appreciate, do you include others, even if they're not the way you are, even though they have a different background, even though they have a different religion, and they have a different gender, right? Do you appreciate diversity, and everybody's viewpoints are important. So those are just kind of give you a quick summary of these soft skills that are equally important as technology, right? And to form. And I love seeing you guys kind of working together here as a team. And I agree with Ashit by kind of learning how to speak up and how to introduce yourself. In fact, in every communication class I've taken so far, the one thing we always focused on first was, what is your 1-minute pitch to introduce yourself? If you had 1 minute in an elevator with an executive, you came in and you said, hey, hi, I'm Yvonne. What would that be? Quick 1 minute afterwards be that tells, where you could tell them who you are and what you're working on.
Thanks, Yvonne. One last question, because I don't want to hold her from her family. So should I pick, or one of you guys are going to raise your hand and quickly jump in? I'm going to pick someone.
I'm sure
Someone
they'll jump in. Ashit, let them jump in. I'm sure they will.
Okay.
Can I say something?
Is that okay? Who wants to speak next?
James.
James, go ahead. And then I think after that, Lena wants to speak too, right, Lena?
Yeah.
Sister Lena? Lean or Lena? I'm sorry. Okay, so Sister Lean after James. And so James, introduce yourself, please. And then after that, we'll go to Sister Lean. And I think I'm going to just add one more person. I'm going to pick that person. I'm going to pick Raja Adil to be the last person to ask questions. Last question. Okay, so go ahead, James, please.
Hello, my name is James. I'm a student at State. I'm actually currently learning or majoring in computer science right now, for the math side, more on computer science. And you talked about acquiring interns, and what I wanted to ask was, what kind of filters do you apply when looking at interns? Do you use, how extreme are you when asking what skills they have, or are you laid back and willing to let them come in to learn the environment, to learn the skills required? Because I've heard a lot of companies will actually ask and teach them a whole brand new set of information, and more of just like learn the company itself, and because the technology is always changing. So school, the curriculum or the academics are usually 10 years behind, so I was just asking, what kind of information or what kind of skills are you looking for?
Yeah. So, well, I think there's a good enough understanding at Google that, like, yeah, some of the curriculum is definitely behind, or like it's a different technology, but they look more at the concepts, right? Do you understand the concept? Do you understand the algorithm? So especially for software engineering interns, obviously they look heavily on like different basic algorithms. Do you know the basic different sort algorithms and things like that, right? So, and it doesn't always, often they even say like, hey, do it in the language that you're comfortable with. If you want to do it in Java, fine. If you want to do it in Python, fine, right? If you want to do it in Go, fine, right? So most of the time they can kind of let you pick the programming that you want to do, and then it's often like kind of a whiteboarding interview where they give you a programming question, right? A scenario, and then ask you to solve it right there on the whiteboard, which can be a bit scary. I admit, I remember my interview still kind of because of me watching you solve the problem right there on the spot. But that's why it's all about practice, right? There's actually great books, and I can share those too, about how to crack, and you may already be familiar with it, how to crack the tech interviews, right? Technology interviews for tech. And so, yeah, so I think again, like the intern program is managed by the center team, and different engineers from different teams come in to do the interviewing there.
Got it.
And it's really kind of by that center team. By the time as me as a hiring manager, I get involved, they've already been hired. They're sitting there in a pool of interns, and then I actually have to apply to get them, because I have to make sure I have an interesting project. Because again, the Google really wants to invest in those interns, hoping they turn into employees. So not everybody gets interns. I only get an intern if I have a really exciting project and I have a senior software engineer that can work with them throughout that project, because we want that experience to be really pleasant for the intern. And of course, like you said, a big learning opportunity for the intern. Right. But, yeah.
Thanks.
That was very
Thanks,
informative.
Ivan. Thank you. So, Sister Lean, you go next. Please introduce yourself and your question. And actually, after Raja, I'm going to also add, if you don't mind, Ivan, one other person. And then we will close this at 9:45. Okay, so we have 6 minutes for 3 people. So go ahead, Lean, and
Much
ask.
time to answer the questions then, Baijan.
What?
You're
What did
not
you say?
much time to answer the questions then, Baijan.
Okay, but I'm worried about you. These guys are here. My students are here for 3 hours. I mean, they are my captive audience. They go through this torture every Saturday. But I know that you have family things to take care of. So anyway, Sister Lean, please go ahead.
Assalamualaikum. I am a computer science and a computer engineer student. I still didn't transfer over to a 4-year university, but I know they asked about internships, but I wanted to ask, I applied for an internship position and they asked for courses they're looking for. I'm taking in university, and they didn't want more of like where I worked or volunteered, or since I'm a student still. I just wanted to know if that's the same case for Google too, like they are looking for the courses, engineering courses I'm taking or computer science courses I'm taking, and if there's like a specific place to apply for internships in Google or not. It's just like you said, temporarily if someone needs it or not.
Oh no,
that's it.
It's not just temporary. So our internship program is huge, like especially within the summer. Like I think every summer, like something like 2,000 interns join Google or something like that. It's big, and that's why it's saying it's centrally managed. I'm sure they will ask for the courses. But again, they will probably ask, I would assume they will ask for the course and the resume. Usually when you apply, you usually have to submit a resume as well. And it's the resume where you would put the extracurricular activities, right? You would mention it on your resume, because they would always look at the full package, right? They don't just look at one signal. And so there should be, I'll find the website for interns, and there were a couple of questions around that. I'll find the external facing website for Google internship program and how to apply there. I just personally haven't gone through it, and I just see it from a hiring manager perspective, right? I'm not involved in the interviewing process itself. That's managed centrally by a team.
Thank you.
So Raja, you next, brother.
Hey, hi, my name is Raja. I'm a junior in high school. I was asking, what is the day-to-day like for a software engineer?
Day-to-day for a software engineer, at Google at least, they come in the morning, they usually go get their cup of coffee from the barista and a nice breakfast, because Google provides breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Then they usually sit down and they work on really kind of different problems. So it could be when they come in the morning, they may have a new bug assigned to them that they need to fix, right? So they work in different programming languages, but they basically work on that problem space, and they will have probably some meetings. Though the software engineers don't have as many meetings as I do. Like I pretty much spend my whole day in meetings at this point. But they have some meetings where they have to join, like the daily Scrum meeting, usually in the morning at 9 o'clock, where they join a team. They kind of go through one by one, describing like what they did the day before, what they're planning to do today, and what are the roadblocks ahead of them. And they try to collaborate in the team in case they have a problem they can't solve. You know, they kind of work collaboratively with the person, somebody else in the team to solve it, do some peer programming, and try to, oops, my light's going off. Apologies. And then really kind of work on some problem. This could be, depending on what they're working on, right? Kind of like they may be writing a Python script right now. They may be in the process of submitting a change log, which we call CL, a change list of changes into our code system, which means it needs to be peer reviewed by somebody. And most of the time when they submit it, the peer review come back with lots of comments. So you spend a few more hours after that, or maybe some even days. It can take something multiple days for a change to be submitted into the code repository and get peer reviewed by others. The peer reviewer may suggest, hey, use a different framework, try look into this framework and try that. So then they kind of just adjust the problem accordingly. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Thank you.
Ivan, so who's going next? Hello.
Would I be able to ask
Okay.
another question, or was someone else in line?
I think I would say just a new person, and then it's
Always good.
Ivan. What is who's this?
Yeah, it's Papa.
Okay, Papa, you go. Okay.
So, Assalamu alaikum, Ivan. My name is Papa Sanya, and I'm a biomed student at Sac State. I'm graduating this summer. This May. So my question is, what do you advise on, because for someone who want to be really good at this type of programming, like how much hours do you think is enough to dedicate a day? So yeah, that's my question.
To programming, yeah. I have advised you when I like. I'll tell you what I tell my nephews. You should. Food and sleep is optional at this point. You're young in your career. As much time you can spend on programming and learning technologies, or on taking soft skills classes, or going out doing Toastmasters, or going out to hackathons. The more you can do, you should do. Like there's like sleep and food is optional. So obviously that's a bit more extreme view, right? But again, like you early in your career, right? Kind of course, try to focus as much on learning these technologies as you can, right? The more you do, the faster you get up to speed. But still have a balanced life, right? Exercise is important. Mindfulness is important. Giving your brain some rest by going jogging, or of course spending time with family is important, right? So you have to prioritize and balance your life throughout, right? But yeah, don't waste your time on I don't know, watching TV. That should not be your priority right now, unless it's a programming class you're watching on TV. You're learning something.
Thanks, Ivan. I have one very exciting student. She's, I think, the youngest student in the class. She is in 8th grade. Husna, am I correct? And she has, she's been one of the first students to always submit the assignments, and I give them sometimes tricky assignments. So she still doesn't hate me, and she's a friend, I think, of Asiya and Asma. And by the way, your niece Asiya is here too. I don't want to put her on the spot and ask questions. But
food and sleep is optional, Asiya. I hope you heard that. Go study hard.
Oh yeah. Okay, good. So Husna, go ahead, please.
Okay. Hello, my name is Husna. I'm 13 and I'm an 8th grade student. My question is, how old do you have to be to work at Google?
Oh, that's a good question. To be honest, as far as I know, I believe for interns, they don't even take kind of first grade. I think I'm sorry, I don't even, I'm not sure if like first year, like at least every intern that has come into my team was usually kind of second or third year of university. Having said that, though, I have started seeing, again, not in my team because I only got limited intern, but I have seen some interns at Google that actually didn't have professional computer science background, though that is more rare, especially for an intern. I don't know. I think it would be the legal limit. I actually don't know. I would think it's the legal limit, and then it's just about what you've done, right? And again, some people actually, they also, especially younger students I've seen come to Google, are more kind of not necessarily through intern program, but through, like, they've applied maybe to one of those computer science challenges. So Google does a lot of these throughout the year, kind of computer science type of challenges or science projects, like computer science projects that they sponsor. So have a look out. I'll take a look if I can find some, but I know there's some, and then if you win the award, then they would invite you in to come to Google to come and present or something like that. So I think I've seen more kind of younger people kind of at that capacity, you know, especially if they're still in high school, where they've participated through some of those programs.
Thanks, Yvonne, for you know, taking your time. You know, we've kept you engaged for 45 minutes. My last request to you is, and of course, you know, this has been huge. I'm sure I'm going to get very positive feedback from all my students, and they're already chatting and giving you their thanks. I want to hear, if you don't mind, some closing comments, some advice for the students in terms of the importance of coming to class on time and importance to submitting the assignments on time. Okay, that is very important in terms of how that contributes to their professionalism. Coming to class on time, and most of them are on time, but I want you to reinforce punctuality and also importance of, you know, doing the assignments on time or before time, because that's also builds commitment. So if you can address that from a you know, going into the career perspective, I would really appreciate that. I'll go offline.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Of course, those are critical. I'll even trumpet one. I think the quality of work is just as important, right? And yes, it's in a work environment, when you work with somebody, and by the way, a lot of software engineers are not comfortable with this, but a lot of people always ask, like, how much time are you going to take? Here's a requirement. I want you to develop this for me. How much time do you take, right? And kind of getting comfortable setting and giving an estimate, and then even more comfortable with meeting that estimate, right? Despite roadblocks that come along, because if you have roadblocks, you have to take initiative to fix those. And so it's really important when you have meetings, for example, in the morning. If you have a team-wide meeting, like a daily stand-up, and you're not on time, you're always going to be seen as that slacker in the team, right? The low performer, person doesn't care about other people's time, doesn't value other people's time. And that's not really the person you want to be, right? You want to be the one that actually arrives 2 minutes early because you value your team members and you value their time. So not being on time should be an exception, not the rule, right? The same one, kind of on-time delivery, especially if you have a deadline. If we have to, like, we had to launch this huge program of January 1st, 2020, and we had huge amount of roadblocks ahead. And back in November, it really looked like there's no way we can meet it. So we brought the whole team together, we reassessed, we de-scoped a few things, we added a few additional developers, right? But I was not able to go back to my business and say we cannot meet the January 1st, 2020 deadline, because the next opportunity for us to launch a payroll system was a year later, because the payroll cycle and how it works, etc. So it's like really important to do your work, but then also, especially something to high quality of work, right? Go the extra mile to test your programs. Don't rely on QA testers to do the testing. At Google, it's critical. You write your own unit test, you do your own testing, you make sure that your code works. And if that means you have to you spend another 5 hours writing unit tests, that's what you have to do. If that means you spend another day, like an extra, like, or you have to work late night in order to make sure it's of high quality because you validated actually the work, that's what you should do, right? It's super important to deliver high quality work on time, every time.
Thanks, Yvonne. Thank you. And we all appreciate it. And I know my nephews are all away. They don't want to come and show their face, but maybe next time. And don't be surprised that we might call you back in and towards the middle of this course. Asad just spoke last week from a Brave perspective. Next week, inshallah, we're going to bring in some Scrum specialists. From this point on, a lot of I'm also planning to bring an investor into this call so that people who are thinking about starting their own online business, they hear from an investor what an investor thinks of. This is a very, very different course and class. And I think it's an advantage for the students because I am a non-professional teacher. I do this for the sake of earning rewards for the day when I pass away. And I think most of my students they make dua for me and for my family. And I'll explain to you what our family to them what my family is going through. As you know, Ivan, I'm in quarantine right now, so I'm going to talk to my students about it with my mother. And I just want to say I find myself um, this is actually a coronavirus gift to me. And it's a strange thing that I'm saying, but to be able to spend, 15 days or so with your mother in isolation, be able to serve her and still be able to carry on your daily needs, it's nothing short of a gift from Allah through coronavirus. I don't look at this quarantine as a punishment or a severity. Of course we miss all of you guys, but this is a gift that I am able to spend these 15 days with my mother. I don't know whether she looks at it that way. So, but anyway, thank you very much and enjoy your family and appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you to the class for doing this. This is really awesome. I love seeing more and more young, diverse students coming into computer science and into programming, to technology. Love that. Stay on.
Thank you.
Thank you. I love
this. Hello, this is are you guys able to see my video? I'm in a hotel. So I want to give you guys a quick overview of where I am in. So about a week ago, we decided. My mother was in Dublin, Ireland. We wanted to have our mother come to United States. She flew into the U.S. I flew out last Sunday to pick her up from the airport, from a different airport. Brought her back, and we had decided that in order to protect our family, my mother and I, we need to be self-quarantined. So I'm right now talking to you from a Best Western hotel in South Sacramento. And inshallah, I'll be here with my mother through the 18th. Alhamdulillah, she doesn't have any signs of coronavirus, but we're just being careful. She's about 80 years old, and I would appreciate if you guys would just put up with me. So today's class is from a hotel. Next Saturday will also be from a hotel. It's not very good Wi-Fi connection. And in the middle, I have to get up and go and help my mother do whatever. Right now, she's sleeping. I don't know how long she will sleep, but I'll have to feed her breakfast and her medication. I'm not saying this for any other reason except that there may be some interruptions, but I'm really, really thankful to Allah that you guys have decided to continue to come to this class. I know it's not easy, and you have other options, but thank you. So right now it is 9:57. So let's take a 10-minute break and come back at 10:10. Okay, 10 or 10, and we can talk more. The goal is to go over some of the things that I've talked, and then today we're going to go into the status of Ruby on Rails and some Ruby programming. Good, exciting stuff is coming up. Probably not as exciting as you want, but hey, you guys have to put up with me. Okay, so see you guys at 10 past 10. Thank you. Okay, assalamu alaikum. It's 10:10, so I thought we start. So first of all, thank you everyone to be here today. We have about 14 students, so we're missing a few students from the class, but inshallah they will join. So what I want to do is to go off the video and go over today's goals, okay? All right, so now turn the video off and I will present a window. Let's see, where is that window? Okay, window, here's the window. So let's see, present. So today's lecture number 6. You guys already been through part 1, and I just want to make sure if someone can just speak up and say if they're looking at the goal 6 lecture page or not. Just anyone, just tell me with audio if you're looking at it now, because I'm not able to see the chat.
Yes, look at it.
Yes.
Yeah, we can see it.
All right, thank you. Thank you. So in the part 2, we are now in part 2, and we're going to do a review of CSS classes, IDs, DOM, developer console. How do they relate to this course? Why they're important? And we'll talk about querying the DOM and the window object and using jQuery or any other tool. So I think we have done enough exercise right now for CSS classes, how we specify the classes, how we use them, the purpose of these classes. And before that, we had talked about the style attribute, inline styling. Then we used an HTML tag called style in the bottom of the HTML page. And then we added our styles there, CSS styles there. Then I showed you through JS Fiddle how you can take your styles out of the HTML page into the CSS part of JS Fiddle, so that you have a separation of style and the page markup. Okay. Then I also talked to you guys briefly, not too much, about IDs and what IDs are used for. You can reuse a class, the style attributes defined inside it, as many times as you wish inside a page, HTML markup. But you should only use the ID, which should be all unique IDs, only once in a page, because as you learn, IDs are used to do something specific for that particular element, HTML element on the page. Hello? I think someone's mic is on. Unless you're asking questions, turn your mic off. So I'd appreciate it. Just please turn your microphone off. I'll give you guys the opportunity to ask questions. So for the last 5 lectures, we have been talking about putting together a page layout. But how does the browser deal with the HTML markup? Inside the browser, there is a thingy called document object model. All right. And we'll talk a little bit more about objects and things like that later on. I think in part 3, I'm planning to do that. Look at your web page. No, let me back up. A website has multiple pages. Every time you click on something, it opens up a new page. It's actually a page, whether it's a form or whatever. It's a page that you're looking at. So you navigate through the clicks and all to different pages, different parts of the same page, and the browser keeps a record of the page that you're looking at in container, which I think rightfully is called a document. So looking at a document, this document is not that different from the Microsoft Word document or the Google Docs document that you put in, right? When you're putting together your resume nicely, you put your name in the bold, some things are italic, stuff like that. You can create a complete web page of your resume, and that's what you guys have been doing through the exercise. That document looks a lot different when it is when the browser is looking at it. And through the view source, you saw how the source of the page looks like. It looks like something that is completely impossible to put together, but that's what the browser is looking at it. And your page, the markup page that you put together, it's always interpreted by the browser from top to down, okay? And here and there are some interactivity that is built in, which is through JavaScript. So I think you remember, I think it was the second or third lecture, we had an on-click attribute. And there was a on-click, and then there's a alert that I had mentioned, and in the alert, you mentioned hello, whatever, right? That interactivity in the page is a piece that I have not talked to you guys about much, other than just mentioning on-click equals to. And there's a huge amount of interactivity. That's when the pages become live, okay? So the document, when you're writing as a web developer program, you will learn how to grab an element programmatically and change the color. Now, you guys remember, I did an exercise with you a couple of weeks ago when we opened up Masjid An-Noor's page, and there was a button, donate button or something like that, and we started changing colors to that. We were doing it manually through the developer console, correct? We're going to be doing a whole lot of these things programmatically through Ruby on Rails. For example, let's say you want to make sure that this button donate is not active unless a person specifies their name and the purpose of their donation. That button should be inactive, because you don't want people to be making donations on Masjid An-Noor's website unless they specify which program this donation should be applied to. And you're going to do this through JavaScript. So one thing should be starting to get clear to you, that maybe not actually, but the browser does not know Ruby, does not know Python, does not know any of those programming languages. It knows HTML. It knows how to handle CSS with it. It's specified in the HTML markup. And it knows how to run these interactivity using JavaScript. And Google actually plays a huge role in the interactivity that you see on Google Chrome websites. Google has provided for free a JavaScript engine. It's called the V8, Vector 8 V8 engine, which actually plays a huge role in adding interactivity to the web pages that you will develop. You won't have to deal with it directly at all. I'm just telling you that Google has made a major contribution to the interactivity of the Chrome browser. I want to see if any of you guys have any questions. I'm not able to see the chat. So let's, for 5 minutes or so, please ask me questions about CSS, IDs, DOM, Developer Console. Now, the last two parts, DOM and Developer Console, you know, they are new topics, but ask me questions about classes and IDs, and, you know, I'll try to explain that to you. Go ahead. And then we have about 5 minutes around. By the way, my mother is awake, so I might have to take a quick break here and get things for my mother. Okay? So I apologize for that. Go ahead, please. Any questions?
Assalamu alaikum, brother. So my question is today, are we gonna use JavaScript for the web page that we're working on right now, or will that be later on?
JavaScript, we're gonna use definitely. But my plan is to introduce you guys to Ruby on Rails, and actually Ruby, and then Ruby on Rails, and then go to JavaScript. The problem is that JavaScript is a lot harder to learn than Ruby. Okay, and you can develop pretty interesting websites with JavaScript written for you by the Ruby on Rails framework to start off with. So Ruby on Rails gives you a lot of JavaScript interactivity for free without you learning to add them. It's pretty interesting, actually. But eventually, yeah, your page will include JavaScript, but it will be built by Ruby on Rails. Once you get comfortable with Ruby on Rails, we will go into JavaScript. There is no, we will not skip JavaScript, because then otherwise this course would be incomplete. And again, I want to recap, when we finish this course, inshallah, you will know multiple programming languages, including Ruby, Java, SQL. Then you will know the markup language, HTML. Then you'll know the styling, which is CSS, and a whole lot of other things. You know, it just will keep, you'll learn Git. You just installed it last week or week before. You'll learn how to showcase your code to the world using GitHub. You guys, I will talk about that too. Any other questions? Any other questions? Come on, you gotta have questions.
Yeah. So so Ruby on Rails is just an extension of JavaScript, or is that a
No? Ruby on Rails is a framework. It's a lot of code that has been developed and provided to us for free through an open source license. So it's a open source software that anyone can go and copy from the website rubyonrails.org and download it to your computers and develop websites with it. And JavaScript is part of it. It's JavaScript, they incorporate JavaScript into Ruby on Rails, just like Ruby on Rails. So a framework, web development framework, is a set of tools organized for you, for us as developers. And this a framework. It's like when you are building a home, right? If you decide that you want to have the frame pre-built, there are certain houses. Have you seen those mobile homes? You know, someone comes in and does the foundation, and then a truck comes in and brings in your mobile home and it's just put on top of it. And then sometimes it's just the outside shell, and inside then you go in and build rooms and stuff like that. So think of Ruby on Rails as that mobile home structure, the outside structure that is already there for you. So you don't have to worry about how to put together the roof, how to put together the windows, but you have to then customize, you know, what your kitchen is going to look like, what your living room is going to look like, all the inside part of it. Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes sense, brother. Okay.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yes, this is Melissa. I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So when I was watching the Ruby on Rails
By
tutorial,
the way, who is speaking?
this is Munisa.
Okay, can you
Sister
get
Munisa.
can you get closer to the microphone, because there's some background noise and some mute. I don't know. I'm sure it's not music, but there's some background noise to it. And I don't know whether it's you. I don't know whether
Is that a
it's
little
you.
better?
I don't know if it's you or someone else has the microphone open.
No, it's me. Is that a little better?
Yeah, much better. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay, so when I was watching the video about Rails, the person was talking about other programs that needed to be downloaded, like Gymlist and Node and Yarn.
Right.
So
right.
with us being in this web development class, how many programs are we going to need, like in total, to be able to?
So there is a very interesting. This is a very interesting question. There is a website which is what I go to very frequently. It is rubygems.org. Okay, I think that's what it is, or rubygems.org. I think it is. You go to that website. Let's say you're looking for. Let's say you want to add a feature in your program, in your web application, that is for let's say playing cartoons, okay? Or let's make it easier. Let's say you want to have a website where you want to have a shopping cart so people can buy things and add to the shopping cart. Instead of writing that code all by yourself from scratch, the first thing I do, if I have that kind of a need, I go to rubygems.org, and then I do a search there. It's a very interesting, yeah, it is Ruby Gems. There is a search bar. I put in some keywords, let's say shopping cart, right? And I'm doing that right now. I'm just putting shopping cart. And when I hit return, it gives me a whole lot of programs that have already been provided to us for free. So the first one is axe_as shopping cart, and there have been 138,000 downloads, and then there are others. It's alphabetically listing. So there are certain criteria that we must use to pick this one of these shopping carts. Okay, does that make sense? So
yes, it does.
There are, I think, over 80,000 or so good programs like that, and there is a way to incorporate them. There is a Ruby Gems, gem file that you will be adding things to, but that's going to come later. Okay. Any other questions? I want you guys to go ahead.
Yes, brother Arshad. Assalamu alaikum. I installed Ruby in my computer, but when I follow up with the video in YouTube, they put like some command like Gemlist. When I try to do it in Ruby command, or there is interactive Ruby also, it's not work. I tried just follow some command. He use it like in command prompt in YouTube video, but it's not work, and I don't know what the reason.
Yeah, so that will happen, and this is normal. It's not you. A lot of the time, these videos are old, right? Or they're not very specific. So one of the things that I wanted to do before I had to head out and get my mother was to sit together with Abdul Rahman. He has a Windows computer, and I wanted to install the software on his computer and then send you guys a detailed instruction. But a lot of things have changed because of my quarantine, and I won't be able to see Abdul Rahman. So the only option is that I go and buy a brand new computer and then install it and give it to you, give you guys the instruction.
Okay.
And I don't think I should do that. So what I've been doing is I've been looking on the web to find out if there is a online version of Ruby on Rails, just like JS Fiddle, right? And I
Yeah.
found one yesterday. It too has some bugs in it, and I don't want to give it to you guys because I'm not satisfied with it. But the best thing is that I install the application on a Windows computer and give you guys step-by-step instructions. And for that, I need a Windows computer that is good enough for programming. I have a Mac computer. And there are some ways that I can actually install Microsoft Windows on my computer, on my Mac computer. I just have not been able to get to it, and I'm actually happy, but now I have to take care of myself and for my mother, and she's 80 years old. It's not an excuse, but you know, it's been I have not as much time.
Alhamdulillah, brother. Jazakallah khair. This is best thing you do it in your life. Alhamdulillah. To take
Jazakallah.
care from your mother. Jazakallah khair.
Yakum.
This is the
Jazakallah.
best
Thank
of
you.
the best. Jazakallah
Thank
khair.
you.
Salam alaikum.
So, wa alaikum salam. Any other question? No. Okay.
No.
No questions. All right. So, review of lecture 1. Why is it going to lecture 1? I'm trying to get to this window where I'm teaching this course. Okay. So are you guys able to see my video now? The screen. It says goals of lecture 6. Can someone tell me?
No, brother.
Okay, so there's something wrong here. Okay. I think I have to go present now. I don't know why it does that, but I think this is the screen. It should be coming up now. All right, someone tell me if you guys are looking at it.
Yeah, we can see it now.
Okay, good. So the task of web development is creating an application that generates HTML markup pages every time a request comes to your application. Okay, so Ruby on Rails is built with the Ruby programming language. You get this mobile home given to you by default, so you don't have to learn, as I said, how to make the rope, how to put together the door. The structure is there for you. Now you just need to do the internal part of it, right? So this may not be exactly the right way to compare it, but I think it's pretty close example. So you can't just move into a shell, right? You got to make room, you got to make bathrooms, you got to have all these areas that a home should have. And at that point, you forget that you're in a mobile home once you're inside. So Ruby on Rails basically is a framework that gives you the structure of your mobile home, but it lets you build the inside. But to the outside world, they don't need to know how you built this home, right? They don't care what kind of material, whether you went to Lowe's or to Home Depot or Orchard Supply, hardware, whatever, to get your equipment. So that is where the comparison is to programming languages. So someone can build a web application and a website with a lot of interactivity using PHP programming language, or they can use Python. And there are many other programming languages. We happen to be using a framework that is built by with Ruby. So again, using the same mobile home analogy, you can have mobile homes built by many companies. You can order it from many companies. So similarly, and all those mobile homes would have the same features, right? So you will decide which one you want to go with, based on price, based on how much you can extend it, stuff like that. Um, so Ruby on Rails here is one of the many mobile home shell creators, right? And of course, there could be some mobile home structures that are made with fiberglass, for example, right? So it's still a mobile home, but you need different types of tools and material to build the inside because everything is fiberglass versus something that is made out of a container homes, using shipping containers, and then they cut doors and things like that through welding machines and saws. You will need a different type of materials and tools to do that, right? Um, hang on for 1 second. So Ruby on Rails is one of the very stable framework. Can I ask for about 5 minutes of break? My mother is just up. Do you guys mind?
Sure, brother. Take your time,
Okay.
please.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's 10:36. I apologize for this. I need to check her sugar and give her some insulin in I think 5 minutes or so. Actually, make it 10. Can we do that, please?
Sure. Jazakallah khair, brother. Take care.
Sorry about that.
No problem, brother.
Okay. Okay, Assalamu alaikum. Let's see, the website, this is the one, I think. Okay, so you guys should be seeing the goals page again. Is there anyone who can confirm that?
Yes, we're seeing the goals page.
Okay, so Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Sadaqallahu al-azim. Thank you guys. So again, the browser doesn't know Ruby. The browser doesn't know all these other programming languages. The browser doesn't care about whether this web page has been developed using Ruby on Rails or PHP or anything. All it cares, when the browser starts looking at it, how does the browser look at it? So when you go into a URL and you type, let's say, www.masjidannoor.com, it hits a server, a web server, if you have typed it correctly. And the web server knows that whenever there is a request coming, the application or the web server knows which application to run. So it goes to the web page or the website developed by Annoor's programmers, and the programmers have already predetermined and decided that whenever a browser is requesting to see their first page, it should send this markup. So sometimes you will see a home or a welcome page. In the URLs, you see sometimes those kind of words: home, welcome, index sometimes. That is a decision that the programmers have made, that the first page, a first markup that should be sent to the browser requesting should be this one. And you will be making that decision. There's a thing in the Ruby on Rails called routes, just like Google Maps, it's called routes. So you quickly decide which page to show when someone in a browser hits your website. So the response is always going to be an HTML page. And if it's not an HTML page, you'll see a blank page in your browser, or maybe some error, depending on how sophisticated the programmer is. A good programmer should not show an error. Should show, okay, some nice user-friendly message saying, the page you're requesting is not available or cannot be found. So the user knows what happened. But let's say that they typed in everything correctly, something should show up. So when you went to, let's say, jsfiddle.net, it sends you the first page. Everyone gets the same page, right? And then it lets you log in if you are a paid subscriber. If you're not a paid subscriber, you get another page, and you do things with it. Everything, whether it's JSFederal, whether it's Google.com, whether it's CNN.com, everything is HTML coming from the web application. And it's a HTML page, it's an HTML document. We should actually now start, instead of using the word page, as programmers, we should use the word document. So a document comes in, and the browser renders this document. This rendering or showing means that the software behind the browser itself is a software, right? The browser software, it catches whatever is coming back from the website. It's a document. The document is made up of HTML, and inside the HTML, there is styling attributes, CSS files for the look of it and the layout of it. And then there's a lot of JavaScript files that add interactivity to the page. So everything for the page is sent by the application server, right? Now, this is important for us to understand. So let's say it's the Masjid An-Noor website. So Masjid An-Noor sends its first page to the browser. It doesn't send the page as we see it. It just sends code. It just sends HTML markup. And then the browser goes through the HTML and the styling of it and presents the document, the composed document, the final document for us to look at. So we're not looking at code. It's just the final end results, correct? So everything for that masjidannoor.com page comes all in one package, and because the internet actually sends you almost everything at once. That's why sometimes the pages that are very heavy on graphics, they have a lot of interactivity, they take a little bit longer to download, right? Even if you are on the fastest network, you know, by Xfinity or whatever, some websites download quicker, some websites download very slow. And usually you will notice that the websites that have a lot of rich media, carousel, and a lot of pictures, and the developers have not done a good job, they take their time to load. Am I correct or not? Right?
Right, brother.
Yes.
Right. And the reason being is that the content, the markup for that document, that page is huge. And it takes time for the browser, it takes time for that code, that page layout, the interactivity, everything to come into the browser. Now, some browsers are getting smarter. And the programmers, a lot has to do with the programmer. The programmers, they give a smaller version of the page quickly, so the page loads quickly, but everything keeps coming in the background, right? So the initial page looks quickly, and the document gets prepared, and the browser has everything to display it to the user. So users get this impression of page loading very quickly. Why it is important? In the world today, in the world of webs today, web application, people usually have about 3 to 6 minutes of attention. If a page doesn't load within 6 seconds, most people lose interest unless it's something very critical, you know, then they just wait, like IRS web pages, which takes a long time, and people don't have any option. But if you're doing some search and a web page is not coming down very quickly, you know, you say, okay, I don't know what's wrong with the website, and you move on and look at something else. That's lost business for websites that are selling something, for example. So as engineers, we will need to make sure that our pages are quick to load. And Ruby on Rails, by the way, gives you that, you know, that functionality built in. So when a page built with Ruby on Rails is being served on the internet, it has all the things to make the page stream or show in the browser very, very quickly. Ruby on Rails is extremely sophisticated framework, and you will learn to appreciate it. it's not perfect, but it's pretty good. So again, this right now I'm trying to encapsulate everything that we've been doing, so you get an idea. So as an engineer, as a web engineer, this is what your workflow is going to look like. All right, and again, this is a recap. Someone says, okay, Husna, I'm just using Husna as a name, so I hope she doesn't mind. So she's my youngest and brightest student, mashallah. So someone goes to Husna and says, Husna, I need a website to be developed to make a list of all the elderly who are living alone in this time of coronavirus, and we want to build a website to identify those and for people to sign up as volunteers to go out and help and meet those elderly and give them whatever they need. Let's say this is a simple application. So Husna, as an engineer, she will sit down and start to get the requirements. Okay, what do you need? What kind of functionality you need? Do you want the volunteers to sign up? What about privacy? Stuff like that. She'll ask a few questions, and then she will take a paper and pencil and she draw a few screens, and then she will go back to the let's say it's her dad or mother who wants this website to be built. So she will go and ask her mother, let's say, Mommy, these are the screens that I sketched out. Do they look okay? So the mommy will say, okay, this looks fine. This one doesn't look fine. So they'll go through a couple of iterations, and then Husna will go ahead and make what I call a high fidelity set of screens. What these are, and I will show you the tools, free tools, where you will be making these. These would look like a photograph or screenshot of the screens that she needs to build. She will take those with colors, and they will look like pictures of the web pages. She'll go back to her mom and say, okay, Mom, these are the screens that I'm going to be working on, and here's the flow. You click here and you go to this screen, and you click here, you go to this screen. Still, Husna has not done any Rails programming yet. Okay, she has not developed anything yet. So let's say Husna will just draw the high fidelity screens with colors and everything for the first 3 screens. Let's say sign up and log in and a list of people, the elderly looking for help. That's just very simple. 3 screens. And as long as she gets an approval from her mom, say, yeah, this is good. Show me how this works on the web. So then Husna will go in to her computer. Rails is already, the Ruby on Rails framework is already installed on her computer. She will go to the command line, which let's say is, she has a Microsoft Word computer, not Microsoft Word, Microsoft Windows computer, I'm sorry. She'll go to the command line, she'll go to the projects directory, she will use a mkdir command to make a new directory, and she will call that directory, let's say, volunteer program, whatever. It's just the name of a website. Then she will change her directory using the command line into that directory. Simple command, cd space volunteer program, whatever. Now when she's there, she's going to create a new Rails program. This is where she will get this mobile home shell. So she's going to issue a command, Rails space new space volunteer program, right? And she will hit enter, and then the Rails application will go and start building that shell for her. Once it's ready, she just want to test if it's ready or not. she will go ahead and say Rails S, and if she has done everything right, the Rails will start running that application in the development mode, because right now everything is happening on her website, on her computer. So, and I hope this is being recorded because it's important, the flow that I'm talking about. Once she finds out that it is running properly, she says, okay, now I'm going to stop the server. And even though I have not developed any one of those 3 screens, I want to go ahead and use the word publish this website from my development machine to the web, so other people can see this shell, the outside shell of the application. It has nothing in there except the first page. And I think all of you have seen this web page, this yay, you are on Rails. It's a simple page that shows up when you first create an application. So she goes, and let's say she has already purchased this domain name URL called volunteerprogram.com. So, and let's say she purchased it from GoDaddy.com. So she will go and set this web page up, and I don't want to get into the details of that right now. It's not that complicated. And then she will take the code, she will push the code that for the new Ruby on Rails application that she had just created, that shell of a program, and she is going to upload, just like we upload our pictures, our resumes and documents, she's going to upload all the Ruby on Rails program to this destination. Hello?
Yeah, Assalamu alaikum. Are we supposed to be seeing something? Because we're still seeing.
No, you're not. No, you're not. I'm just explaining the workflow, and it's being recorded, I believe. So then once Husna has uploaded this shell program up to GoDaddy or wherever, Heroku is what we're going to be using. That's another site that you'll be creating an account with. And it's a free website. Then if everything went okay, the website will be ready for anyone on the web to go and check it out. So let's say in this case, it would be called volunteerprogram.heroku.com, because Heroku is a free service that lets people upload Ruby on Rails programs and Node.js programs or whatever. Once Husna checks it out, she can go and tell her mom, Mom, I have the first skeleton application running on the web. Go to your browser and type volunteerprogram.heroku.com. Her mother or her friends go there and they see the initial page, the default page on the website. And so she has completed the initial part of putting the shell web application on the World Wide Web. And congratulations. Now once her mom is okay and this thing has been pushed, Husna will go back, and now she will start developing one of those pages at a time. So she will go and start using Ruby on Rails, and then she will create the markup for the first page. Let's say the first page is welcome page. Welcome to Masjid An-Nur volunteer program. Log in or sign up. Volunteer, we are looking for volunteers, log in or sign up as a volunteer. There will be 2 buttons, right? So on that, let's say the sign up button, when the person clicks on the sign up button, it will open up that second page, markup page that she had already drawn, right? And people would be able to sign up as volunteers. But if someone wanted to log in to see the number of people or the list of people who are looking for help, the elderly, then when they click that button, the sign in button, it will open up a different page. And that page also has to be designed by Husna because it's already been approved by her mom or whoever her user is. And depending on which page they are in, let's say they are in the sign up, volunteer sign up page, there will be a form where you will put, you will ask them for the name, contact number, what kind of work they want to do. Do they want to exclusively helping the female elderly or the male elderly, stuff like that. And they will submit. There will be a submit button, and then submit button will take the user to a fourth page. But let's say for right now, we will disable the submit button because we don't have approval from her mom yet. What should be looking like when someone presses submit? Okay, so only 3 pages. Once those 3 pages are done, now based on the layout that her mother has already approved, she is going to then push. Now that she has 3 pages that she has built now, right? HTML pages with buttons and all that. She's going to go to the command line again, save everything in Git, and you guys all have Git accounts and Git setup. So she's gonna issue a command git commit dot. So she's gonna push that the code again using Git to Heroku website on the internet. And after everything has been pushed, now Heroku is going to do the magic and update the website with whatever Husna has published and pushed up. Now, when someone goes to the same website, volunteerprogram.heroku.com, they will see a welcome page. It's not going to be the default page that shows up. It's been replaced by the page which is welcoming everyone. It will have 2 buttons for sign up or login. So this is the whole workflow I wanted to talk to you guys about. This is web development. This is full stack web development. This is the goal, end goal for all of you. So I hope you guys are there on the journey with me. Before we take a break, I want to see if anyone has any questions. Hello? Any questions?
No. I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
My question is, I was trying to install the Ruby, and I was watching the YouTube video, and in the YouTube video, the version, it was 2.6.5. But if I don't see that on the download page, like the only version I see is 2.6.1-1. Can I download that one?
Yeah, you can download that, and also there is a command line tool called RVM, Ruby Version Manager. RVM, you can also, once you have downloaded any version of Ruby, you can actually download the updated version, and it's very simple to upgrade it. So let's say you downloaded Ruby 2.5, for example, and the Rails framework needs Ruby 2.6, right? You can always go to command line and update the version of Ruby on your computer. So the command line is going to be your friend. You guys have to be very, very comfortable with command line, and it's not very complicated, and I sent you guys links for getting yourself comfortable with command line. So no need to worry about that part, okay? Let's see. In the next section, I will show you a website where you can actually play with Ruby without installing it on your computer. It's called REPL.it. I don't know if, can you see it right now? No, I don't think you can. Let's see. Okay. Maybe you can see it now. Can you see this REPL.IT main RB? It has a black box on the
Yes, we can
right.
see it.
So this is actually interactive Ruby on the web. So we will take a 5-minute break. Let's see, 5-minute break and come back at 11:15, let's say. And in the meanwhile, I'll see how this thing is working out, okay? And we'll go into other stuff as well.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam.
The sister that just talked previously before me, if that's the sister that said she needed a part-time job, she said she was trying to purchase a home and then she needed a part-time job. If that's the sister, can I have the sister's number? Inshallah ta'ala, maybe I can be of help to her in any way I can.
Yeah, it's between the two. It's between the two of you.
Yes, yes.
So I don't know how to put you guys together because I don't want to share her email address.
No.
Or contact number because people will get mad at me and instead of giving me dua, they give me something else.
Oh no,
Okay.
I'm not like that. If you want to share, that's fine with me. I'm not.
Give me your phone
That's
number,
okay with
sister.
me.
Just give me your number quickly.
It's
But
209.
everyone is listening, so
Okay.
this is so it's up to you guys. If you feel comfortable, that's fine. You're all my sisters and children anyway. Go ahead.
Vidasha, I'd rather you give her the email. Send her the email.
Yeah, that's what I think I could do. I think I know who the two of you are, and I can send an email and introduce the two of you.
Okay. So in the email, help me include the sister's phone number so we can connect.
Sister, what you need to do, because you're the requester, send me an email so I know who you are.
Okay.
And the other sister knows who she is, so she can send me the email and I could be the glue. And then I can. Does that make sense?
Inshallah.
Okay.
I will
Both of
email
you.
you, inshallah ta'ala.
Yeah, you know why I'm doing this, right? I have to protect your privacy.
Inshallah. After the class, maybe.
Yeah, it's up to you guys. And then
After
you
the
guys
class.
decide what. Right.
Jazakumullah khair.
Wayakum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Yeah, this is Brother Hussein Said. Brother Arshad, I need to speak to Brother Abdurrahman regarding this whole thing because I couldn't able even to log in through video or chat. It just gives me some. I don't know if there is something I miss or if he could help me. Can I?
He's listening. He's listening right now. So.
How do I contact him? Abdurrahman, do you know my phone number?
Let me see. I don't think I do. I don't think I do.
Okay, so Brother Hussein, send me an email and then I will add Brother Abdurrahman's.
Send him my number. Send him my number.
Yeah, okay. So I have authorization
Sure. I don't have any problem to share my information with my brothers.
Okay.
Inshallah.
Okay.
Okay, Jazakallah khair.
Welcome. Okay, couple more minutes and then I'll resume. Okay, I think I'm ready to resume. So, let's see. All right, so it's 11:15 in my clock. So I'm gonna start talking. I'm gonna start talking about the Ruby, but before I talk about Ruby, actually, I'm going to talk about programming in general. So I gave you guys a quick workflow of developing a web application from requirements all the way to deployment. Deployment of the code or publishing the code or pushing the code. Deployment actually starts with pushing the code up to Heroku or to whatever website it is that you are using, site hosting service you're using. And then once it's up there, then it gets updated and refreshed. And then everyone else coming to your web page sees the updated web page. And it's important that you understand the roles of the things that you're developing. So for example, what is the role of Git? Git is basically a repository. If you go into VS Code, and once you have created a repository of your website, you can actually, if you made a mistake and you deleted a few lines, Git gives you the ability to go and recover and undo that quite a bit. It's a beautiful tool that you would have to learn. It's your friend. Git software is the best friend of the programmers. One interesting thing is that inshallah, starting next week, I will teach you. Hang on, my mother wants something. Okay, I have to give her Quran. Hang on. Okay. Yeah, birthday. Sorry about that, guys. My mother, she wants to start reading Quran. She does that every day. Anyway, I'm back. So where was I? I completely lost my train of thought. What was I talking about?
You're talking about the how Git is a repository and it helps you.
Yeah, keep the versions of your code. So you're going to be making a lot of changes to the pages that you're building, right? So sometimes you will accidentally delete something. Sometimes a particular feature requires that you need to so from the history of what you're writing, the code that you're developing, the HTML, the CSS, and the JavaScript, things like that, and the Ruby code, you want to go back. You want to go back to a version. So Git is actually a version control, software version control manager. You will be saving your files. You will be committing changes. Now, anything that you have not committed, let's say you're making changes to your Ruby on Rails program, and they're working fine on the application, but in order for you to push that change, you will need to commit that change to the repository, meaning that you're saying, it's okay, I want to show this to the world. And then you have to go ahead and upload that code or push that code to Heroku, your website on Heroku, where it would be seen by the rest of the world. There's one other thing that you'll be doing. You all have created an account at GitHub, right? So GitHub is where you will actually start showcasing your work. So when the program, when you're applying for jobs, or when someone wants to see, or let's say join your project, you want to share the code. Your code is going to be also uploaded to GitHub. So if an employer asks you, okay, show me what you have done, right? How much Rails do you know? You will point them to your account on GitHub and say, okay, go to this account on GitHub, and all the programs that I've written, the source code is there. That's going to be one of the first things that you will be asked by any technical recruiter. I want to see what you have done. So GitHub is going to become your tool. It's going to become your showcase of the code that you've written. Now, you would, of course, also show them and tell them the URL where the application is running, where it's on the Heroku, right? So let's say volunteerprogram.heroku.com, just an example, is the URL. They'll see what it looks like when it's your finished product. But if they want to see your code, they have to go to GitHub and you giving them permission to look at your code. Because it's very easy, for example, for someone to go and hire a developer in India at $10 an hour and have them write a website. And then you say, okay, you tell the recruiters that I have written this web application. It happens all the time. So when the recruiters see your code, then they're going to start asking questions to make sure that this is not written by someone in Russia and you just paid for it and you're claiming it's your own. You see the issue? It happens a lot. It happens a lot because people, getting a resource in India at $10 an hour, or in Bangladesh, or now in Africa as well. Russia is expensive. You guys get my my drift? Hello?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions, or should I go to the Ruby? And I'll tell you why, what I'm doing in Ruby, and then I'll send you, inshallah, links for you to get yourself up and running with Ruby. So there will be some reading and practical assignments, so you're prepared for it. And in the meanwhile, I will see if I can install Ruby on Rails and send you guys the instructions. So depending on how things go, next week you guys will end up putting in a lot of time learning Ruby, just the beginning of it, and also installing Ruby on Rails if I get to install it on my computer. Okay. So developing every application requires getting requirements, and let's say you are in the stage where you want to add some interactivity, right? The programming language that you will work with most of the time is called Ruby. Ruby was a software language, programming language that was developed by a man in Japan. So this programming language was developed in Japan, and his motivation was that he wanted to write a program that is as simple as reading English, because programming languages can be very cryptic. So he's done a pretty good job. Ruby programs are very easy to read. And the role of Ruby here is that you will be writing Ruby programs to automatically generate the HTML pages. So let's say, you've got 20 people who want to sign up as a volunteer and 300 people who are looking for help. You're not going to create 20 pages, one for each user, and 200 pages describing each person looking for special need. You're going to write a program. You're going to write a program that will generate those pages, because people can keep joining that website, right? Volunteerprogram.com. And you don't want to be just writing a page for themselves, for each user, each volunteer, and for each person looking for help. This is where Ruby comes in, and Ruby on Rails come in. And I have found that Ruby on Rails is one of the easiest languages to learn. In fact, some of you may develop such a preference for it that you know, other languages would look very boring for you and very difficult to learn. And I don't want to tell you which languages I like or not, but I love Ruby. So here's this free web service called REPL.it. I hope all of you are able to see this screen. It's called REPL.it. Are you guys able to see that?
Yes, brother, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, inshallah, you're going to be creating an account and doing what I'm doing there on your own next week. And of course, the office hours, you're welcome to come at 6:30 and get any help. But it's very simple, you guys. So here I have one line. It's a Ruby line it's a little bit similar to VS Code. And here I have a line 1 in main.rb. That's a file name. The .rb means that it's a Ruby file type, and main is just the name of the file, right? I can create another file. Let's say volunteer here intro.rb. Let's see if I can create this or not. Okay, so let's say I did create a file. Now that is highlighted, and I can just type puts hello class, right? And my intention is that when this line gets run, on the black side, on the right side, there's a black window, right? I will see the results. Okay, so it says hello world. It says, so for some reason it's not going to, it keeps running main RB. I mean, all these things are different, so it's forcing me to use that. So I'm just gonna cut and paste here and run. It should say hello class. Are you guys able to see? Oh, it's probably very, very small, right? I know, I forgot about that. Is it big enough for you guys now?
Yeah, we can see it.
Yes, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I went to REPL.it on my laptop and I put that and I puts hello class and it didn't work. It put undefined method.
Undefined method. Did you put a space in between the puts?
Yeah. But
just the way you're looking at it, are you in main.rb?
Yeah.
All right, and is it RB file?
Yeah.
Okay, because you can see it's working, right? I don't know what's the issue. We'll debug that, inshallah. All right, so this is a program, one-line program. I can go ahead and say, let's say it's a button that says, what is your name, right? Let's say this is a sign-up page, okay? Now, oops, and I run it, that question will say, right? Now, if I want to get capture this in a variable, and I know that I'm using a lot of things that are not new to you, or that are new to you. Here is, I don't know what happens with this. These things are so unreliable. Now, it's the web that is not. Control C, come on, man. This is the benefit or the problem of using the web services. Let me see. Let me go to my VS Code. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing the screen and I'm going to share VS Code with you guys. Hang on. Oops. Okay. Okay. Let's see how I can go ahead and okay, present now, present a window. Where's my, I think this is the one, hello. Okay, are you guys looking at a VS Code screen, correct? Please someone confirm.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
correct.
Okay, so I'm just gonna put the same line, hello class. And if you notice, and let me increase the size of this screen. Should be, you guys should be able to see this now. Sister Aisha, are you able to see it? Are you guys able to see my VS Code screen?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can see it.
Yeah, we can.
Okay. So this, now if I wanted to run that, I will go and say hello.s. Yes. Sorry. Save. I'm looking for this utility. So lib change. So I'm going to move to that folder where utilities, come on, utilities, change directory to utilities, and then ls. Okay, so if I ran ruby hello.rb, ls, okay, come on, lib utilities, and it should show me hello. I need to rename this file, call it hello.rb. Okay, now let's see. Okay, so so I had to give it a file name. So now I have a file that is hello.rb. Anything that I put in there and I run it using this command ruby hello.rb or whatever is the file name, it will show me the result. It runs the whole thing. Is everyone with me? Hello?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yes.
okay. So right now, this is the first Ruby class, first Ruby line. I can put some more things in it, and this is when you learn Ruby. And I think get as your name. So what I'm expecting is that when this thing runs, after I save this file and I run it again, Arshad, Control C, then it should get you a prompt. But let's say, anyway, so you're going to be writing a lot of these commands, these lines of Ruby language. As you go through it, you will be displaying things, and eventually you will have your code, your pages distributed in directories. I want to quickly talk about the controller files, the model files, and the things that you'll be writing in Ruby. And I'll send you guys the exercise for Ruby itself, I will confuse you. At least you should be able to run your code in the REPL. I will find out why REPL.it is not working for you. But I want you guys to bypass and not have to install Ruby at least until I give you the instructions. But you guys remember, I think most of you remember an example of the restaurant, right? Where a particular customer comes in, looks at the menu, and then orders some food, and then the waiter takes that order to the kitchen. The kitchen cooks it up, and then when it's ready, rings a bell or a button for the waiter to come back and pick up the prepared food and give it to the table that had ordered it, right? So that is, there's a reason why I talked about it. There is a concept in computer science called model, view, and controller. So model right now is like the kitchen, where everything is prepared for you. So model is the kitchen. View is the restaurant area where everyone is sitting and looking at the menu. And controller is the guy or the person in the middle, the waiter. You need all three of them for a restaurant to function, right? And if you don't have the kitchen, then yeah, you may have sitting area, you may have the waiter, but the restaurant would not function because you don't have a kitchen. You may have a kitchen, but if you don't have someone to take the order, but you have the sitting area, it's going to be chaos. You may have the kitchen, you may have the waiter to take orders, but if you don't have any place to sit, you will not have any dining area. But maybe in the coronavirus days it's different. But so you need all three of them, right? So Riz will provide you facilities already pre-built. It will have, as I'll scroll up, it will have an app directory. An app directory would have models. It will have let's say the controllers, right? So you'll write your controllers here, and then you'll have the views, the restaurant where people come and sit. Those are I'm using that as an example for views, the pages that you will. So most of the time, you're going to start from, once you have the high fidelity layout, let's say for this volunteer program that has been approved by our engineer's mom, let's say, you're going to start with the kitchen, because kitchen is the most complex thing. You really have to put the kitchen together, because you know your restaurant is going to be known for its food, its cuisine. So you'll start with the controller, model. Then you will start hiring the waiters, and maybe simultaneously you will also talk to the furniture companies and all that, and ordering the tables and the chairs, and you know, just let's say it's a simple restaurant and just lay it out. So what I wanted to do is to I wish I could go to, I have a very small screen, guys, so you have to bear with me for a second. What I want to do is to show you in the VS Code. Are you guys still able to see my screen? Hello?
We're seeing the VS Code screen.
Okay. So I'm in a Ruby interactive Ruby console right now. It is, you'll see it's a Ruby line 1. Can everyone see this? So I can actually type the same
Yes.
thing here, type the same thing here, and it will show me the results. This is what I actually want to do. You have to install Ruby to be able to play with this in the VS Code. So, and I don't think most of you have Ruby installed, right?
Right.
Yeah, we
Right.
don't have it.
Yeah, you don't have it, and then I'll be that one is easier to install than Ruby on Rails. And actually, Ruby on Rails is not that difficult to install either. So here, I want to show you a concept of classes, and I know that I'm skipping a lot farther into Ruby than most classes do, but I really want to push the limit. So we know that we're gonna have a kitchen, we're gonna have a waiter, and we're gonna have a what? A dining area, right? Correct? So let's start the kitchen. Class kitchen, right? So we are now starting to put together conceptually what a kitchen would look like. So kitchen would have, and these are Ruby keywords, and you'll know more about it, and I'll teach you more. But the kitchen would need to have what? A fridge, right? Where the food will be kept. It's gonna have, let's say it's a very simple kitchen. It has a stove, right? A single stove. Come on, man. Okay. And it will have a, what else does the kitchen have? Pan, frying pan, let's say.
Dishwasher.
Dishwasher, okay. And I know I'm making a mistake here. It's gonna.
Microwave.
Okay, dishwasher. Okay, let's say an end. Okay, so I did not need to add this commas. I think okay. Okay, dishwasher. Unexpected. So Ruby is telling me that I'm doing something wrong here. So unexpected. Okay. Oops. Okay, so I'm actually not putting the right words. All right, so now I think I was, instead of accessor, I put an S in there and did not like it. Now I have a class kitchen. Now I can make, and this kitchen right now only has a fridge. So I can say, I can create this kitchen because I want to start using it, right? So my kitchen, and it's a new kitchen. So now a new kitchen has been created. The reason I showed you class is almost all your code in Ruby is going to be part of some class. Class is like a encapsulation of your ideas. So let's quickly look at, you guys have a desk. Let's say you're working off of a desk. So if you are a furniture company and you're designing desks, you're gonna, let's say study desk, you're gonna have certain attributes that you'll need, and you're building classes, sorry, tables, you're going to specify that my table is going to look like, it's going to have, it's going to have a counter, right? So attribute accessor legs, right? You're going to have a counter, and you're going to have, let's say, drawer. Oops. Unexpected. Why is this thing keeps giving me errors? Unexpected code. Okay, table new. So whenever someone wants to manufacture a table, this table has legs and you know, a counter and some drawers. So this is his blueprint of making tables. Now, if he also and he can make as many tables with this specification, correct? As long as each table that he manufactures has these things. It has some legs, it has a counter like a top, and it has drawers. So these three, in this case, are the attributes of the table. Just like we had the elements in our web page, it had attributes, right? And there were attributes of different types. There was a class attribute, there was an ID attribute, you guys worked with the on-click attribute. This happens to be a class that has these attributes. But it's not that different from what you guys have done. These are attributes. Now, one thing that classes and Rubies do is that, you know, classes also have some behavior. Like, so what can people do with a table? Can someone volunteer? What do you do with the table? You do
you put stuff on it.
You put stuff on it, right? What are some of the things that you do with the table?
You like use it to write on, maybe for studying.
Yeah. And anyone else? No. What do you do with the table? Nothing else?
You could eat on it.
Yeah. So exactly. So there's a purpose for the table, right? Once you made a table, there's a purpose to it. Those things are the behavior of a particular class. Now let's take another example. Let's say that you are making a car, right? So let's create a class car, right? And its attributes, accessors are, what would a car have? So tell me the attributes of a car. We're not using it right now. We're not talking about the functions of the car. We are just specifying a generic car. So someone help me out.
Wheels.
Okay, wheels. Tires.
Seats.
What?
Seats.
What was that?
Seats. Windows.
Okay.
Doors.
Doors.
A trunk.
Okay, doors. Trunk.
Radio.
Okay. Now we're getting a little bit spoiled here. Okay. You guys get the idea, right? and a steering wheel, right? You can't have a car. It cannot be functional unless it has, you know, maybe radio for teenagers, yeah, but it's just a joke, okay? Don't get offended. But these are pretty much what you find in most cars, right? So you have specified what a car is. Now, when you save it, so now I have a car class and I want to create a car. So I say, I will create a car called my cool car equals to car dot new. Okay. So now I have created a new car, right? And let's say I want to give it a, we don't have a color, right? We just have wheels. So let's give it 4 windows or 5 windows. So let's call it my, first of all, let's do this. My cool car dot windows. They are nil, right? Because we have said that this has windows, but how many windows? We have not said anything like that. So we're going to set that to 4. Okay. Now, if I do now instead of nil, when I say my cool car dot windows, it gives me 4. Let's say I want to specify that I have, oh, let's say I forgot. Let's say I forgot that the color for the car, right? So I can just open up the class again, and I can add, I think I can do it this way. We'll find out. Color, right? I added the color attribute, close it. So new, my cool car, I don't think this is going to work, dot color. Okay, it's nil. Oh, that did work. Ruby has improved. So now I've added a color attribute. And what was the other one that I did specify? The windows, right? Windows, it's still 4, right? Now I can, because I added this attribute, I wouldn't have any color because I have to specify it, right? So I'm going to assign it color in double quotes, and you guys are used to things, right? Everything you specify, it has to be in double quotes. What color should we have it? Let's make it really purple. Okay, purple. Someone is a fan here. So now after I've assigned it, if I just want to look at the color of the car, it says it's purple. It's no longer nil. Okay. So in the context of the hotel, I'm going to create the kitchen, right? So the class kitchen, let's look at what kitchen looks like. The kitchen is there. My kitchen equals to kitchen dot new. Okay, so it was not created. So let's create a kitchen. Class kitchen, and someone help me out. Let's say kitchen has a stove, right? A fridge. What else did we say it has? Oven.
Frying pan.
Oven. Frying pan. Oops. I'm going to do it like this. Frying pan. Oven. Yeah. So let's leave it at that, okay? So I'm specifying a class kitchen. Now I've specified my kitchen, and I'm going to create a new kitchen for myself. So my cool kitchen equals to kitchen dot new. So now I have a new kitchen. Now everything is it's just like a specification. I haven't added anything. So let's add some things to this new kitchen. So my cool kitchen. Right now I haven't specified anything, right? So if I wanted to know what fridge it is, let's say like this, it will be nil because I haven't specified anything for the fridge, right? So let's add a fridge. Let's call it whatever, famous Maytag, whatever. Okay. Is everyone with me, or am I leaving people behind?
No, we're with you.
Yes. Yes. We-
Okay. So I add a fridge to it, and it's called Maytag. And now when I hit enter, and I'm deliberately not telling you why I'm putting equals to and why sometimes I'm not putting equals to. I think you guys will develop an idea. So when we are setting something, you know, we use the equal sign. And when we are just wanting to see what kind we have, we're just reading the value, we don't put the equal sign. So let's say I decide, oh, I'm going to change the fridge to, what other brand is there? Come on, guys, help me out. Give me another brand name for a fridge.
Frigidaire.
Frigidaire, right? Now if I find out what fridge I have, it's changed to Frigidaire. It's the answer in the bottom, right? Is everyone with me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So, however, right now, the kitchen has no behavior. So this is a strange question to ask. What are the things, what are the functions that we do in a kitchen? Right? We cook, obviously. We clean in the kitchen. These are the two main functions, right? Cook and clean. So let's try to add this functionality to the kitchen. Okay. And I'm going to add a function called cook. Now watch what I'm doing. I'm defining a function or a functionality, cook, right? And what am I going to do? When someone is asked to cook, it will say, the kitchen should respond saying, cooking food, and. Now, let's see, my kitchen, right? My cool kitchen. What was it? My cool kitchen. My cool kitchen dot. So I'm going to use this cooks. I want to use this functionality. As soon as we use the method cook, it should say cooking food, right? Now, what I want you guys to notice is the kitchen class, sorry, my kitchen, my cool kitchen. It has the attributes listed, but it's listed a little bit differently. At fridge equals to Frigidaire, okay? And we have added a functionality called cook, correct? Whenever I want to know what an attribute is, the syntax is the kitchen that I created and the attribute, in this case, fridge, and it will tell me whatever it is. It also had, my cool kitchen had a stove. Because I have not created a value for stove, when I want to know what a stove, what kind of stove it has, it would show nil. But when I say stove equals to, give me kitchen Oster. Okay, Oster is a good brand, right? Now, when I want to know what the kitchen is, it will show me Oster. And if I want to see everything, all the attributes, now that kitchen has a fridge and a stove, correct? So as we specify the attributes, it shows me what I have. Now, similarly, the functionality is cook. It cooks me. But we said that we want to add another functionality. What was that functionality? Clean, right? If I hit return now, it would give me some errors. And in the bottom it says undefined method clean. Do you guys see that? Does everyone see in the bottom?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. What that means that I haven't specified the method or the function clean. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to clean up the screen. I'm going to open up the class again and kitchen, and I'll add a function called clean. All right. And here I'm going to, and this is all dummy stuff, right? Cleaning the kitchen. Okay. And end. Okay. So now my cool kitchen.clean should say cleaning the kitchen, because that function, that method has been defined. Are you guys getting the idea?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So in the next exercise, the assignment, I will show you, inshallah, how to install Ruby, or maybe we'll get the REPL.it working and you will do it there. It depends. I would prefer to do it on REPL.it, because then you won't have to muck with the with installing Ruby until we figure out how to do this on your computers. Inshallah, that's something that I will be doing this week and maybe tomorrow. This little exercise is going to help you when you go through the exercises for Ruby in your homework assignment. Let's do another class for this example of a restaurant. What was the controller that we needed? We needed to have a waiter, right? So let's create a class waiter, right? And let's define the waiter's attributes. So each waiter should have a name, right? Class attribute accessor. So what should Raja? What should be another attribute of the waiter? You have waiters have name. What else do we need to have for a waiter? Okay, is Raja here with us? Maybe he's not with us. Anyone else?
Age, like age.
A name tag.
Name was already there. So
ID.
you want name tag like this?
Yeah.
Okay. What else does a waiter have? In order for him or her to work,
Language.
An apron.
language, and of course they need to be available, right? I mean, a restaurant can have a
notepad to take a notepad, like an electronic notepad to take the order.
Yeah. So order tablet, let's say, order tablet, whether it's paper or electronic. And he or she must have a menu that they give to the access to the menu, right? But let's just not do the that part is going to get a little complicated. Let's say, what else would how would you describe a waiter? Someone who is in a restaurant, there are many people. There are cooks, there are waiters, and how do you know that someone is a waiter, not a cook? Let's say maybe uniform, right? Right, if they have a particular attire, and let's say if they're present, because they could be, a restaurant could have many waiters, but some of them could have the shift and someone may be off.
We need table number.
But that's, let's say if they're present. I think there's an echo. There is an echo. Can you turn the speaker off? Okay, turn off the speaker because I'm hearing an echo from Facebook or some live thing. Okay, and whether this waiter is present or not. So I'm going to go ahead and close it here. Now let's create a first waiter. Let's call him. Let's give this waiter a waiter equals to waiter dot new, right? So I've created a waiter. Now to this waiter, I will give this waiter a name. So see, when I'm specifying the waiter, it has a double colon, a colon and a name. So the syntax is different, and you guys will learn through the exercise. But when I'm using it, and there's actually a specific terminology that I'm not using right now, but you will learn it through the class, through the exercise. But when I want to know the name, it should be nothing, right? Because I haven't specified the name. So let's go ahead and specify a name. Let's call it Arshad. So now we have a waiter, and if I just want to look at everything that the waiter has, it should show me that I have a waiter, and that's his object ID, and the name is Arshad. Notice this. Here, there is an @ sign. When we were using it, we used a dot before the name. And when we were specifying it, it was a colon. You see that? Then in the attribute accessor part, it was colon name. When I was using it, it was dot name. And when I looked at the object, it's @ name. So Ruby is doing that for you behind the scene. And it's actually very, very helpful what Ruby is doing. And now, let's say we want to make sure that this waiter is present. So let's say present. And it's nil, right? Because we haven't specified. Now I'm going to put something else. Let's say this waiter is present. There is a Ruby keyword called true. Okay, so I have a hidden agenda here. I'm teaching you guys the types of value you can provide. Now, if I say waiter is present, now it says true. When I said this, hello.
So automatically the what do you call assigns types.
Yeah, Ruby assigns you know, that thing. It assigns the type, or I would say Ruby is an untyped programming language, whereas Java is a strictly typed programming language. So let me do this. So I just added a Ruby statement that says puts I am working if a waiter dot present. So what it's reading to me, what I'm saying is, if waiter dot present is true, then you print this line saying I am working. Now let's go ahead and change the waiter to be not present, false. Okay. Now if I run the same line again, it will not say anything because it is the waiter is not present. Or let's see this way. If waiter present, so I have written a simple Ruby application, Ruby code that says if a waiter is present, put I'm working, else put I'm not working. Now remember, I have changed a waiter dot present to false in the line above here. I don't know if you guys can see it in above that. So because it was false, it says I'm not working, right? Before it was true, it was working. So I'm going to go ahead and change that to true and run this code again. Now when I run this code, it will say I am working because I changed it to true. So those kind of values are called Boolean values. And when I said the waiter's name, that was just a string. So let's do it. What else did we have for the uniform? There was a uniform attribute, right? A waiter dot uniform equals to what? Call apron. Let's call it the apron now. Okay, let's keep it at waiter. So now the waiter's uniform is apron. What are the things that a waiter can do? We have he can take order, and he can and he's required to take the order and take it to the kitchen, right? And a waiter is also required to bring the food from the kitchen to the table. The waiter is also required to give the bill or the check to the customer. And the customer, I'm not talking about the customer class. Once the customer gives the payment, the waiter also runs it through the machine and brings the check. And then once it gives the check to the customer, it gets the cash and gives the change, all that, right? So there are many things that the waiter is doing here, and we haven't really specified the functionality. The other class in this restaurant example is going to be what? Papa? Papa, are you with me? Hello? Okay. What is the other class for that we need for the restaurant?
Hello, brother.
Yes.
Can you
Who is
hear me?
this?
Yeah, it's Papa. I was
Okay.
actually in the car, so I was like I couldn't reach him my phone.
Okay. So no,
Yeah.
I don't want you to talk while you are driving. Let's see. Bibi, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so what other, in a restaurant, we have a kitchen, we have a waiter, what are we missing? When you're setting up a restaurant? You're missing the dining area.
Dining area?
Yes, right? And because right now you're not functioning, the restaurant is not functioning. We don't have any customers yet, right? But you're just setting up the restaurant. So dining area. So help me with the, okay, by the way, do you guys have to go or can I continue for 2 more minutes?
You can continue.
Okay, so I'm going to create a class, dining room, right? Okay, and so sister, help me with the attributes. What do you want to have in the dining room?
Table.
Okay, tables, right? You're not just going to have one table, right? You're going to have tables, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what else? Give me
Chairs.
the top 3. Okay, chairs. Now, okay, chairs. And what else do we?
Cutlery like spoons, forks, and knives.
Okay, got it.
Or dishes.
Okay, and plates, right?
Yeah.
Plates. Okay, Sister Monisha, what else do we need in the dining room?
We would need napkins.
Napkins. Okay, sister, sorry, Brother Ahmed, Taha. Brother Ahmed, what do we need in the dining room? Okay, Ahmed Tahan. Okay, no. How about Sister Radia? What do we need in the... Okay, what about Sabir? Sabir, what attribute do we need in the dining room that is missing? Okay, Brother Yasser.
Spoons, forks.
Okay, we got a cutlery
plate.
already. Huh?
Yeah,
we got
plate.
cutlery.
Oh, okay,
Plates, we
plates.
got.
Okay.
I think we need some lighting, right? Because we don't want.
Glasses also.
Okay, glasses. Okay. All right. I just want to make sure everyone is with me. Okay.
Yeah. No.
Okay. So now we've got all these things. And what is going to be the behavior of a dining room? I mean, what is the function of a dining room? Who wants to take a stab at that? What is the function? And I know we don't think of dining rooms as having a functionality because they're not animate objects, but we have to. What is the function? What is the functionality of the dining room?
It would be
So we've got the wait.
People eating and the waiters bringing the food to them.
But is that a waiter functionality, or is it a dining room functionality?
A place to eat.
Well, I think the dining room must have a functionality of being well lit, so people can see the food, right? On people the order, right? It's a functionality because you can have an attribute and say, okay, it has lighting, but lighting could be on or off. So I think, and this is where it gets programming becomes very interesting because you start debating: is this an attribute? Is it a function? But how do you differentiate one dining room from another, right? If you've got, let's say, Burger King and McDonald's, they both have dining rooms, right? Do they have different functionality? No. Correct? So then I decide, no, I think the dining room's lighting is not a functionality. So I know what a functionality I'm looking for. Obviously, a kitchen doesn't cook itself, but a kitchen has a functionality. It cooks, food is cooked there. So in a dining room, one of the functionality is the food is served there. Yes or no?
Yes, yes.
Because you don't serve food in the kitchen, even though it's being cooked there. And I think there's another functionality of fulfilling the payments or rejecting payments is a functionality of the dining room, not a waiter. Waiter just takes the card or the money. But in the dining room, the dining room must have the ability to take money or reject money or whatever. Is everyone okay with me?
Yes.
Because so we would have the dining room has the functionality to make the bill, and it needs to take the payment, process the payment, and the actor here, or the entity that is doing these things, is the waiter. So the waiter class is actually an actor, right? It's acting on something. Just like in the kitchen, you would have a cook, right? And the cook can't be the waiter, and a waiter can't be cook, for example, if that's the rule. You guys are getting the idea? So what we'll be doing is, as part of the exercise, I would be asking you guys to put together a set of classes with functions for the volunteer program that we talked about earlier. Remember this volunteer program that is being set up for volunteers to help the elderly in the community who are looking for assistance during this coronavirus episode. I will explain I will have a write-up for you guys, but that's what you guys are going to be doing using the examples that we did today in the class. These classes defined it. Now, I'm not going to be expecting you guys to actually show me the program. That would be bonus. But I want you guys to start thinking about those 3 screens. And of course, I'm just saying it right now, so you don't have to memorize it. But it will be described in the homework that you will get. You will be putting together the initial few things for the volunteer program for An-Noor. Make sense? So I know I've taken a lot of time for you guys, but I wanted you guys to go back with a lot of stuff to think about. You will be installing Ruby. Is everyone with me?
Yes.
Yes.
So I lost like 5, 6 people. I don't know who did we lose. Sister Aliyah, are you with us? Maybe not. Brother Ahmed, Irfan, you there? Sister Lean, she's there. I see. Okay, sister. I hope, sister, all this is making sense to you. Okay, good. I do have my students paying attention. I'm actually missing quite a few students here. I don't know what happened, but anyway, thank you for sticking here. Any questions? Ask me. If not, then we will close this today's lecture. Any questions? How did you guys? I do have a question actually. How did you guys like the Yvonne's presentation?
It was very enlightening.
Okay, good.
Very
nice. Okay, today we covered a lot of things in the last part, the classes and stuff like that. And I know some of you may feel rushed, but hey, we have a lot of territory to cover. If you feel like I'm rushing you or not spending too much time, please send me an email. Okay. Any questions? I know it's 12:30. We are half an hour beyond the time, but I love teaching. And hello.
Jazakallah khair, brother.
Yeah, and my request again. I know that I'm working with limited tools here, working out of a hotel, and I appreciate you guys being there. And please keep me in your dua and my mother in your dua. And may Allah keep her healthy, and may Allah keep all of you and your families healthy. And always ask Allah for any help. Whenever you're having any difficulty understanding, if this is becoming too tough, do 2 rakats of nafil and ask Allah to make it easy for you, and memorize the dua of Musa alayhi salam that he recited, that Allah taught him when he went in front of the Pharaoh. Okay, so please make sure that you memorize it. I actually, whenever I get stuck in my programming, I'm so thankful that someone taught me this. I would just make wudu and make 2 rakats of nafil, and somehow Allah makes it very simple and easy for me. I'm not a very smart person, as you can tell, but I am very blessed that I'm Muslim, and Allah has always solved the problems for me and moved the roadblocks from my path. With that, and if you guys don't have any questions, I'll say Assalamu alaikum until this.
I just had a quick thing to add.
Go ahead.
This is Abdurrahman.
ahead.
Just over a few things. So people like Hussein, if you guys are having trouble on technical side, you can either email me, I'll try to figure something out. Dawah, DAWAH, at masjidnoor.com, or if you need my number, I'll give it to you, Hussein. Just email me. Secondly, payments, we haven't really been promptly following because I know it's a tough time for everybody, for certain people. So we haven't really promptly been following, but please, if it's possible, and if there is no financial difficulty, if you can make it, then you have the masjid, and you have the masjid website, and you have Venmo. Yeah, because we masjid used to rely on weekly donations and Jummah and stuff like that, but now all that's out the window. So I'll happily appreciate it, guys. Jazakallah khair. Also, remember Badash in your du'as. Honestly, you're doing a lot. Each assignment takes him a couple of hours just to put together, and he's not getting paid for this or anything. So just keep him in your family and his family.
Jazakallah. Any other comments? I'm not in a hurry, but if you guys have any questions, whatever, ask me, or come to the Wednesday office hour at 6:30.
Oh yeah, just one more thing, because this came up a couple of times. Does anybody benefit from the recorded things on YouTube or live stream on YouTube and Facebook, or
Yes.
is it?
I haven't actually. When I tried, I couldn't access it. Is there a way to put the link in the chat so that I can?
Just look at Masjid Noor on YouTube.
Thank you.
It's there. So if I go to masjidannoor.com.
No, not website. What YouTube?
Oh. Okay. So what's the keyword? What's the keyword that I need to put in? Masjid an-Noor.
Masjid Noor. You'll find the page, and it should be there.
So I'm going to Masjid an-Noor.
Go on YouTube and then go on Masjid Noor.
Okay. Okay, and there is one. Oh, my lectures are there. Live stream.
I'm live streaming this one right now, actually.
Okay, and then this is scary. I hope my daughter is not going to listen to it and then make fun of me later on.
I'm sure she won't.
Okay. This has been actually very tough. I'm very close to my daughters, and I am away from the family, but it is also that they are missing me being with them for the last few days. Anyway, Jazakallah, Abdurrahman. So, sister, you got it, right? I went to youtube.com, put Masjid an-Noor, and it was one of the first things that showed up.
Yes, I have it. Thank you.
Okay. All right, then I'll let you all go. As always, send me an email if you need my attention about something. I try my best. And look for the homework either Sunday evening or Monday morning or something like that. Okay? Assalamu alaikum.
Closing down. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك لا اله الا انت نستغفرك ونتوب اليك. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر.
صدق الله
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
وعليكم السلام.
No, I agree.
Hussein, email me, please.